Let me say one more thing, and it's not about this case. It's about vetting in general. The nonsense that the left gave us with this Operation Welcome Allies. Look, there was no vetting. If you think there was vetting, I have a bridge to sell you. If you saw the chaos that was going on at that airport in Kabul, in Afghanistan, it was typical of what was going on in the Biden administration. And the Pentagon, I believe it was Kirby and people in the Biden administration said the Afghan withdrawal that we all know was disastrous was a success. And that's a quote. They called that a success. That chaos is not a success. That is a nightmare. And 13 American servicemen and women were killed at that airport because the Biden administration couldn't get their facts together and couldn't make a decision regarding the rules of engagement to take down a known suicide bomber. So let's stop namby-pambing around with this, oh, we was vetted. There was no vetted. The welcome mat was thrown down. They even admitted that they short-circuited the vetting. What they did was they brought in 90,000 people into this country that were not vetted. They told us all the other immigrants were vetted. What do? Call the FBI in Afghanistan and say, gee, do you have anything on this guy? Did we call Venezuela and say, gee, how about your criminal justice system? What can you tell me about this guy? It's like the 10, 20 million American illegals who've been let into this country. We don't know who they are until we suffer the consequences that we have seen in Washington. And I was on that scene, and it is a very sad place. And Sarah Beckstrom and her family did not deserve this. They should have been protected, which is the first order of government. And the left ought to stop their nonsense and recognize that they are not speaking for the American people. They are speaking about ideology and politics. Donald Trump, the president, the attorney general, and myself were interested in the facts, in the prosecution, making people accountable, and rest assured, we will.
You know, man, I want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
Hey. Why this beat so cold?
We will make America proud again. When you try to we will make America wealthy again. And yes, together, we will make America great again.
Well, boy, oh boy, she just went off live on television, man. We have had enough, man. We want to send our prayers, love, and condolences to the Beckstrom family. Rest in peace to Sarah. We are sending our prayers, our love, our thoughts to the other National Guardsman that is still fighting for his life right now. Y'all put some love in the comment section for me. Happy post-Thanksgiving. I hope every last one of you are blessed, well, and healthy, that you are having a great, happy holidays, a great week, and finna have a great weekend, man. Yes, indeed, man. What a time to be alive. I told y'all, we do not know what to expect next, man. But I encourage y'all to continue to spread that love, continue to spread the good energy, the positivity, the good vibes, man. You know, moments like this where we're supposed to come together, put our differences aside, our politics aside, this aside, everything aside, and come together, man. I hate that we have to, you know, be reporting on things like this, and that things and these events like this are taking place in this country, man. And then it makes it even worse when you see them come on the fake news media, and it's it's the big bad orange man's fault, you know. And then we seen what those 6 Democrats came out and said, and telling the military to disobey orders, to disobey the commander in chief. I mean, I tell you, man, it's just a disgrace. The Trump deranger syndrome, you know, the fake news media, the gaslighting, the fear mongering, all the stuff, man, and that have led up to all this. What we've seen from assassination attempts and assassinations. I mean, just the violence, man. There's blood on a lot of people's hands, man. I tell you. But let's get into this huge breaking news. We got some more big things, man, to get into today. And if you're new here, join the family. Hit that subscribe button. We rock and roll 24/7, 7 days a week, man. Keeping it real. We do not sugarcoat it. We do not care what side you're on. Left, right, blue, red. If you're independent, if you're liberal, conservative, we don't care where you lean. We got love for everybody. We're wishing the best in everybody's life. We are rooting for common sense, the America First agenda, you know. Simple. And it's still the hell with a politician, you know. We got to call it for what it is, man. It's a disgrace down there in Washington. Not the swamp. They call it the sewer now. Not the swamp, the sewer. You know, the American people are fed up, hotter than fish grease. The taxpayers are hotter than fish grease. And those are who I speak for. Yes, indeed, man. Shout out to them hardworking patriots. Let's jump into this.
We begin with Fox News alert. A 20-year-old National Guard member dead and another fighting for his life after Wednesday night's ambush in Washington.
The Washington, D.C. Fire and EMS Department sharing this video of them honoring the victim, Sarah Beckstrom, as her body was transferred.
Sarah Beckstrom of West Virginia, one of the guardsmen that we're talking about, highly respected, young, magnificent person. Started service in June of 2023.
So young,
outstanding
man.
In every
so
way.
Young.
She's just passed away. She's no longer with us. She's
so young.
Looking down at us right now.
That was the president breaking the tragic news yesterday. The president also saying 24-year-old Andrew Wolf still fighting for his life right now. His family asking for prayers.
The suspect had worked with the CIA and evacuated to the U.S. from Afghanistan in 2021. The death of Beckstrom means he will likely face upgraded charges to include murder in the first degree. The DOJ also pushing for the death penalty.
We will do everything in our power to seek the death penalty against that monster who should not have been in our country. We're praying for a recovery for them, but worst case scenario, minimum life in prison with terrorism charges.
And with that, let's bring in U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia, Jeanine Pirro. I know it's a tough time for you, Jeanine, but can we talk right off the top about, are we going to see an escalation in charges?
You can just tell. You could tell her body language. You could just tell Jeanine is, boy.
Oh, there's no question. First of all, our hearts go out and our thoughts and prayers go out to the family of a beautiful 20-year-old Sarah Beckstrom who answered the call to serve her nation. And she volunteered, and she ended up being shot ambush style on the cold streets of Washington, D.C. By an individual who will now be charged with murder in the first degree. There are certainly many more charges to come, but we are upgrading the initial charges of assault to murder in the first degree. And we are hoping that the more information we can get and the more investigation that is going on 24/7 now, around the clock in Washington, the more we will find out about what actually happened in terms of this individual even being in this country and being in a position to ambush and shoot down an innocent young woman who was doing her duty to the people of this country.
Let's talk more about that, because obviously, in order to make a case in a court of law, you are going to need evidence. What can you tell us about the evidence being collected right now at the alleged killer's home in Washington state?
Well, I'm not going to get into the execution of the search warrants, but my staff was involved at the command post, and they have been there around the clock. We continue to seek warrants and to execute on those warrants, even as we speak, not just in Washington, the state of Washington, but in other areas around the country, to get everything that we need to make sure that this prosecution is as factful as we need in terms of the law and the evidence. This is a case that has touched the hearts of so many Americans, because to be gunned down on the streets on the nation's holiday is an outrage. And the individual who did this will pay the ultimate price, according to the Attorney General, Pam Bondi. As well, he should, once and if a jury returns a verdict that we will be seeking in this case.
Madam Attorney, what is your message to elected officials like Senator Dick Durbin and Senator Alyssa Slotkin that said that our National Guard was terrorizing American cities, that predicted that it would be the National Guard that would shoot innocent Americans, and many more horrific comments such as that.
I'm telling you, man, they have blood on their hands, man. They have blood on their hands. That lady got up on the live television and said National Guard will shoot American citizens. The other clown on CNN said that the National Guard are Nazis. And you had those Democrats come up and put the tripod up and camera up and tell the military to disobey orders. I mean, man, to the commander-in-chief. I mean, you just can't make this up, man. Democrats have blood on their hands, man.
You know, it outrages me. And, you know, there's a part of me that thinks that the left is disappointed that the National Guard didn't shoot someone. But the truth is that this left-wing progressive nonsense is nothing more than fueling the flame of division in this country. People should be grateful that the President of the United States has taken crime so seriously in this country that he is bringing in our law enforcement partners so that we can protect the innocent citizens. Look, I am the United States Attorney in the District of Columbia. We had the 4th highest homicide rate in the nation 2 years ago, and the president made the decision to protect the people of the district. Now homicides are down 60%, robberies are down 50%, carjackings are down 74%, and the left wants to complain about it. They should thank God that President Trump is the president, that he cares enough about the people of this country to fight the criminals and protect the innocent people. And let me say one more thing, and it's not about this case, it's about vetting in general. The nonsense that the left gave us with this Operation Welcome Allies. Look, there was no vetting. If you think there was vetting, I have a bridge to sell you. If you saw the chaos that was going on at that airport in Kabul, in Afghanistan, it was typical of what was going on in the Biden administration. And the Pentagon, I believe it was Kirby and people in the Biden administration said the Afghan withdrawal that we all know was disastrous was a success. And that's a quote, nightmare. And 13 American servicemen and women were killed. Their facts together and couldn't make a decision regarding the rules of engagement to take down a known suicide bomber. Vetted. The welcome mat was thrown down. They even admitted that they short-circuited the vetting. What they did was they brought in 90,000 people into this country that were not vetted. They told us all the other immigrants were vetted. What do? Call the FBI in Afghanistan and say, gee, do you have anything on this guy? Did we call Venezuela and say, gee, how about your criminal justice system? What can you tell me about this guy? It's like the 10, 20 million illegals who've been let into this country. We don't know who they are until we suffer the consequences that we have seen in Washington. And I was on that scene, and it is a very sad place. And Sarah Beckstrom and her family did not deserve this. They should have been protected, which is the first order of government. And the left ought to stop their nonsense and recognize that they are not speaking for the American people. They are speaking about ideology and politics. Donald Trump, the president, the attorney general, and myself were interested in the facts, in the prosecution, making people accountable, and rest assured, we will.
You know, Madam Attorney, you bring up the vetting process, and we're learning more about this alleged suspect that apparently got this vetting before he partnered with the U.S. in these CIA elite counterterrorism things. It's unclear that there was any vetting after he came here. And I know you can't get into specifics of the investigation, but have we learned any more about what appears to be a likely motive?
That's not something that I'm going to get into right now. That's certainly something that we are examining. It's a fluid situation, as you well know. There are a great deal of people working, as I said, around the clock, trying to put together exactly what was going on. But let me bring you back to the scene of the crime. What happened at that crime is unmistakable. It is a premeditated murder. There was an ambush with a gun toward people who didn't know it was coming. And that is the homicide, and that is the murder that we're looking at right now. You can go into all the other stuff, but as a prosecutor, my job is to prove what happened at that scene. And make no mistake, we will do that.
I'm really glad you touched upon premeditation, because earlier in our show this morning, Emily raised a really good point. And she said the following: this is Thanksgiving week. You are a father. The alleged killer is a father of 5 people. He has a wife. They live in a tiny apartment in Washington state. You would think that leaving on a cross-country trip would set off a myriad of red flags. And so when you reference premeditation, yes, that applies to the alleged killer himself. But what about potentially others who may have some knowledge about the premeditated plan? Can you tell us anything about the investigation with regard to any potential others that could be, let's say, involved in a conspiracy?
I'm not going to comment on that. You know that I can't. But there will be no stone unturned in this case. We will know everything about what happened. We have pretty much every agency, every investigative agency in this country involved right now around the clock. The intent and the determination of the men and women that I was working with and I spent the night with around the clock in Washington is very clear. We will know everything we need to know. It's not time to share that. When the time comes, we will share it.
Well, we appreciate, Madam Attorney, you
Boy,
coming
boy,
on
boy.
and giving